Good evening, Rob. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. Who's with us?
Louis here.
Hello, Louis. How are you? It's so nice to see you all with us.
I now found where the problem was. There was nothing wrong with the Zoom. Our time has changed here.
Ah, I see.
Now it's 9 o'clock here.
Okay.
So now
So you were thinking,
I thought something was wrong. You've taken it off the list or something. I forgot about it.
okay. Good evening, everyone. Who's else with us? Hello, Jeffrey. Hello, Iva. How are you all? Are you all well? Good. Okay, I'm gonna connect the others. There's more people connecting. Just give me a few minutes just to connect everyone. Okay, let me just see who's else with us. Hello, Len. How are you? Thank you for joining us, Len. Who else with us? Let's see who's joining. We'll just give it another few seconds. I'm sure that more people are going to join us shortly. Jeffrey, how are you?
Thank God, Rav. Oh, good.
You have the Hagadah ready because you're going to read for us the Hagadah.
Fine. Yes. Okay.
But you have the Hagadah right next to you.
Yes, I have it.
In English.
From the very beginning, when we search for hummus, from the time we burn it, a lot.
So we're going to start, actually, a matter of fact, we're going to start with halachmania. Remember, we spoke about it last week. We explained a few things about it, but today we have to understand why do we have to say it? I mean, why is it so important that we say halachmania? Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll start with that. We just wait for a few more people to join us, and then we'll start the show. Let me just look if there is any more people joining. So far, no one coming up. Okay, we'll just give another few seconds.
Yeah.
And then we'll start with the Hagadah. Okay, so let's start. Be'ezrat Hashem, na'aseh v'natzliach v'Hashem alenu berachamav yarviach. I would like to dedicate the show in the soul of Esther Kaden Bat Ketsia, Mordechai Ben Rahma, Tamar Bat Zehava, Eitan Ben Keren ve'Avishai Na'eh, Malka Regina Bat Joya, Yaakov Salomon Ben Farha, ve'Dvora Ruth Bat Beila. Also, I would like to dedicate the show in help of ליאורה בת מרים, מנשה נג'י בן פרחה, הרב משה בן באיה בתיה, הרב משה בן דבורה, הרב שלמה יהודה בן דליה, הרב אברהם בן מרינה דבורה, בת אסתר, שינה קהילה בת חנה, מרדכי דוד בן לאה, יהודה הלל בן לאה, חיים נחום בן פסע רזה הכהן, ברוך בן שרה חיינה, אהובה קדן, בת טלי אסתר, לאה בת רחל, פסח יצחק בן אלה, איילה עדן בת רבקה, נטלי מלכה בת שרה רבקה טל, יהודה בן אליעזר, מאיר בן יהודה, אריאל בן שילת, אורי בן יעל וחנניה שלום בן אביגדור. פליס גד רפואה שלמה to them ולכל חולי ופצועי עמו בית ישראל בכל מקום שהם. We have Dr. Les with us. Dr. Les, please update us.
Okay, so Rav, I'm actually at the Begin Center for an amazing talk on anti-Semitism with David Hirsch. So I just came out, it's near the end, but I felt I had to, just appear on your program just to tell you what's going on. So today is actually 6 months since the nightmare began. It's unbelievable. And in all the newspapers on the front page are all the names of all those that were killed and massacred by Hamas, and also Palestinians that crossed over the border. And, the mood here is that the people are very strong, although it's very somber, but we feel that, we will prevail. And the talk that we had here from David Hirsch in England, they're going through unbelievably tremendous anti-Semitism, and he's a world expert. I'll send you the link for the talk tonight. And they're very strong also in their belief that they have to counteract these lies, and it's coming from many, many different quarters. But we do have amazing friends. Douglas Murray in particular, I'm sure when he came to South Africa, he was a tremendous, tremendous ray of sunshine in this very dark time that we're going through, and Richard Kemp and the many others as well. So we're not alone. And Rabbi, I just want to mention, I was with a survivor, a Holocaust survivor last week, the most amazing lady, Yona Ahmet. And she survived so many miracles during the Shoah, and she's got grandchildren, many grandchildren who are fighting in Gaza, and children as well, sons that have reservists. And she said, there's a major difference. Although we think that we're in the worst of times, we've got our own country, and we don't have to rely on the world. We can rely on ourselves and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. She's very from, and her emunah is so strong. So I'll send you that link as well of Yona Ahmet. Yad Vashem did a movie on her, a documentary with animation, which are going to be in all the schools here in Israel for all the school children. She was saved in Italy by righteous Gentiles, and her emunah is just unbelievable. And her faith in this country she is such a Zionist, having lived through all the years here. And she was actually in Cape Town, in Herzliya, in the early 60s. So, Rav, we have to be strong, and we must always remember that that this is the promised land that Hashem has given us, and we are his nation. So it's been 6 months, and please God, Bezrat Hashem, the war will come to an end, and we just hope and pray that our captives and our soldiers will come back safely.
Bezrat
Hashem.
Thank you, Dr. Levy. Thank you. Okay, Rabotai, we're going to start with the Hagadah, but that's just before. Next Sunday, at 2:30, I'm going to send the message. There is Achnasat Sefer Torah at the Sephardi Shul. You all invited. I'm going to sell invitation. It's a personal invitation for me to you, and by the person that wrote the Sefer Torah, he asked me to invite people, as many people that I can, from Shiur, from Yeshiva College, from all over. So I'm going to, Be'ezrat Hashem, later on today or tomorrow, I'm going to put the post on a group, and you all invited for Achnasat Sefer Torah. There is a big meal after that. He promised me it's going to be something special. So Be'ezrat Hashem, every time that we bring Torah is something special. But now we're going to start the Hagadah. So we promised that we're going to start with commentary of the Hagadah. We have our Baal Korah ready. So we're going to start at the beginning. Obviously, I'm not going to go through the Kiddush. Please God, the following week, next Sunday, I want to go through the Seder plate. We'll do part of the Seder plate and we'll explain the word Pesach. But today we start with the Hagadah. And the Hagadah, after the Kiddush, it starts with Magid. Magid, it starts telling the story of the Exodus. And it starts like this. Halach ma'anya, de'achlu abatanya, be'ar'a de'mitzrayim, kol dechfin yete ve'yechol, kol de'tzrich yete ve'yifsah, hashata hacha, לשנה הבאה בהרעה דישראל. השתה אחר עבדה, לשנה הבאה בהרעה דישראל בני חורים. בכבוד, בעל קורא.
Okay. I've got this edition, which is simplified the English, so it may be a little easier. This is the plain, poor bread that our parents ate in the land of Egypt. Whoever is hungry, come eat with us. Whoever needs a place to stay, come make Pesach with us. This year, we are here. Next year, may we be in Eretz Israel. This year, we are not free. Next year, may we be free to serve God perfectly.
Okay, so first of all, we have to explain why is it so important to tell the story of the Exodus. Hazal in Parashat Bo in Sefer Shmot in chapter 13 verse 8 tell us Ve'egadeta lebincha bayom ha'u le'emor So Hazal learned from here that there is a positive command from the Torah to tell the story of the Exodus. And Haran, Rabbeinu Nisim ben Reuven Girondi, okay, he born in the city of Barcelona. He born plus minus, if I'm not mistaken, 709 years ago, plus minus. And he said that it's a mitzvah from the Torah to tell the story of the Exodus. Okay, why? Because by that we're telling the story of the Exodus, beside that we're praising the Almighty. Listen to that, what he said, that we're bringing on us all different kind of prosperity and blessing. Say Deran, okay, Rabbeinu Nisim, he said like this, that when a person tells the story of the Exodus, read the Hagadah and explain the story, what's happened to our fathers in Egypt, how they were slaves, and how HaKadosh Baruch Hu redeemed us, he merited to receive brocha, parnasa, health for all year around. That means as much that we're going to speak about it more, that means that we're going to get better parnasa, better health, better brocha for all year around. That means that the strength of talking about the Exodus, that's what's opening for us all the brocha from Shamayim. Also, we have to understand why is it so important to tell the story of the Exodus. And we have to understand that the story of the Exodus, why is it so important to tell the story of the Exodus? Sorry, I say Exodus, Chas v'shalom. The story of the Yetziat Mitzrayim, the Exodus from Mitzrayim, it's to tell the person that he's building the Emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're building our Emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That the children of Israel was in Egypt for 400 years. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu redeemed them after 400 years. And nachon that we living in a long exile, much longer exile that the children of Israel left in Israel and Mitzrayim. But it's come to implant on us the Emunah, that the same like HaKadosh Baruch Hu redeemed the Jewish people, okay? And released them from slavery to freedom and make them a nation, that's what's going to happen with us. And please God that we see it this Pesach. Hazal tell us, Hazal in the Gemara tell us, Benisan nig'alu, Benisan atidim ligael. That means that the Jewish people been redeemed in Nisan, okay? They've been redeemed. And for the future, Be'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to redeem us in the month of Nisan. And now we're coming very close to Hag Pesach. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu will redeem us. That means it's to implant on us the Emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but it's implant on us the Emunah not only in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that He going to redeem us the same like He redeemed our fathers in Egypt. Now we're going to start with the Hagadah. It's a halachmania. Halachmania, we explained last week, that if you look at that verse in Aramaic, the Hagadah starts with Aramaic, and we brought the opinion that Rabbi Avraham ibn Ezra. Rabbi Avraham ibn Ezra born in the city of Toledo. Toledo is in Spain, and he born 934 years ago, plus minus, okay? And he said that the main reason we explained that it's in Aramaic to make the people that in that time that they wrote the Hagadah, they all speak Aramaic. So to draw their attention, to make them involved in the Hagadah starts in Aramaic. Okay, that's what we explained last week. But Hazal asking, what difference does it make to us? What bread we eaten? Why is the Hagadah tell us this? Unleavened bread, the poor bread that our fathers eaten in Egypt. Be'emet, ma ze meshane? Why? Because our fathers eaten matzah, the unleavened bread. What difference is it come to tell me? I mean, what do I need to learn from it? Asked the Mefarshim. And the Mefarshim explain like this, that a matter of fact that here the Mefarshim tell us that the Hagadah actually come to teach us a direction in life. All year around, we can eat whatever we want. A person want to eat bread, it's his choice. No one force him not to eat bread. You want to eat meat, you can eat meat. But on Pesach night, we have to eat the matzah. Why? It's come to teach us a direction in life. That the Torah tells you once a year, you have to understand that when you eat in the matzah, it's to teach you that once a year, you have to learn to have a self-control, to control yourself. All year around, you can eat whatever you want. Once a year, I'm telling you to eat matzah. What does it mean? That the Torah come to teach us. Rabotai, the Torah come to teach us something very important. That all year around, we can have desire. We can follow our desire with food. Okay? We can eat whatever we want. But we have to learn to have a self-control. How do we do it? That once a year, we refrain from eating hametz. We refrain from eating leavened bread. What do? We're eating the unleavened bread to teach us the self-control. Why is it so important? That if we're not going to teach ourselves self-control, has v'shalom, said the Mefarshim, that's going to bring us to self-destruction. So the Hagadah starts immediately with what? With halachma aniyah. This is the unleavened bread that our fathers eaten where? In Egypt. And said the Rabbi Avraham Ibn Ezra that in certain places in the world, they used to give the prisoners a matzah, unleavened bread. It's not really a matzah like we make, but it's like an unleavened bread, just water, okay, and flour, and it's very dry. It's very dry. Why dafka that? What's so special about it? So he said that what's so special about unleavened bread? He explained like this. He said the unleavened bread come to teach us a self-control. A person that is in jail, okay, he can't have any self-control. So the appetite not going to be great to close the appetite. Say Rabbi Avraham Ibn Ezra, the Torah tells us that's the unleavened bread that our father eaten in Egypt. You know why dafka in Egypt? Because the Egyptian given the Jewish people the unleavened bread. Why dafka the unleavened bread? That they're not going to have a lot of appetite. And that's the idea behind the unleavened bread, to teach us to have a control over our desire. That we don't have this desire to eat more. Why? Because a person that eats a lot of matzah, you know, sometimes it's healthy to certain people. To other people, they have a problem with that. Some people get constipated, whatever the case is. But it's come to teach us something very important, to show to ourselves that we can control our desire. Once a year, for a full week, in Eretz Israel, in the Esprice 8 days, it's to teach us self-control. What it means self-control? That we can say to ourselves that we can come over our certain desire that we have. That means by that we're refraining from eating the bread, we're showing that we can control our desire. And that's why the Hagadah dafka start with halachma aniyah. That's what's so special. So now we brought two ideas. Let's move on. By the way, there's different minhagim. There's a minhag that people repeat the halachma aniyah 3 times. This verse in Aramaic, they repeat it 3 times. Okay, just for general knowledge. The next part that we're going to continue, it's Manishtana. And Manishtana, Halayla Haze Mikol Halelot. I'm just going to read the first one, and then we're going to explain. שבכל הלילות אנו מגבילים אפילו פעם אחת, הלילה הזה שתי פעמים. Jeffrey, the first verse of Manishtana. בכבוד.
Well, it says, why is this night different from all other nights? On all other nights, we eat either chometz or matzah, but tonight, only matzah.
Okay. What's so special about it? Really, why do we have to say Manishtana dafka on Pesach? I can ask this question in Sukkot. Why? Because in Sukkot, we're leaving our comfortable house and we're moving to a sukkah, to a temporary house, if you want to call it a temporary house, whatever you want to call it. So why dafka, ask the Mefarshim, we say Manishtana on Pesach? So the first question, the first answer that I'm going to bring is the most common answer, because what it says in a Torah, it's towards the four leshonot shel geula that Hazal tell us in Sefer, the Torah tell us in Sefer Shmot Parashat Vayera. Hazal tell us there in chapter 6, verse 6 and 7, if I'm not mistaken, that there is 4 words that's actually referring to the Exodus, referring to the salvation that the Jewish people have. And they are ve'otzeti, that I took them out. Kadosh Baruch Hu said, I took the children of Israel out of Israel. Ve'etzalti, and I saved them from the hand of the Egyptian. And then it said, ve'ga'alti, and I redeemed them from Egypt. And then, velakachti, what it means velakachti? And I took them out of Egypt and I made them a nation. That's mean, because those 4 words that speaking about the redemption of the Jewish people, the salvation of the Jewish people, that's what we say Manishtana. And there is 4 different ways that we're singing it. But the Zohar HaKadosh explain it more depth. You know why dafka on Pesach night, on Leila Seder, we say Manishtana? The Zohar HaKadosh explain like this. He said that all year around, Kol Sha'arei Shamayim Sgurim, the heaven gate, the gate of heaven, are they all locked. He said, but on Pesach night, and we spoke about it in the last show, the gate of heaven are all open. By that we're saying, we're sitting around the Seder table, and we're saying, Manishtana Laila Azeh. We're trying to say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how come that this night, that the heavens gate are open, what's the difference between this night to all the other night? Say the Zohar HaKadosh is to wake up the Geulah. That means to try to say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, look, we want to be redeemed. The same like you redeemed us from Egypt, we want you to redeem us now. And that's why we say it 4 times. Why 4 times? That by that we say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you took the children of Israel out of Egypt. You saved them. You redeemed them. And you took them as a nation. You made them a nation. Why do we say it? Because the heavens gate are open on Leila Seder. By that we're talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we're asking him, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what's different this night from all the other nights? Is to remind them what's happened to the children of Israel. in Leil HaSeder. That means on the 15th of Nisan, as it gets dark. That means that straight after done Korban Pesach, that they eaten the Korban Pesach in Yud Benisan, and that night that start already the 15th of Nisan, we're trying to wake up the Geulah. We're trying to say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what's the difference this night from all the other night? This night you redeemed us. Please redeem us again. Be'ezrat Hashem, that we will see the redemption speedily in our day. Amen. Ken Yeh Ratzon. You know what I'm saying? We're waiting for it. Then we start saying, Avadim היינו לפרעה במצרים, ויוציאנו אדוני אלוהינו משם ביד חזקה ובזרוע נטויה, ואילו לא הוציא הקדוש ברוך הוא את אבותינו ממצרים, עדיין אנחנו ובנינו ובני בנינו משועבדים היינו לפרעה במצרים, ואפילו כולנו חכמים, כולנו נבונים, כולנו יודעים את התורה. מצווה עלינו לספר ביציאת מצרים. וכל המרבה לספר ביציאת מצרים, הרי זה משובח.
We used to be slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, but Hashem our God reached out his strong arm and took us out from there. If God had not saved us from Egypt, all of us, even our children and grandchildren, would still be slaves to Pharaoh. So even if we are very smart and know the Torah, it is a mitzvah for us to tell about the miracles that happened when the Jews left Egypt. The more someone tells about it, the more he deserves to be praised.
Okay. What's happening in this verse? In this verse, first of all, we're saying to the Almighty, we were slave to Pharaoh in Egypt. And you, the Almighty, you actually redeemed us. You took us out with a straight hand, okay, with a strong arm. And we admitting that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't take us out of Egypt, we will still be slave in Egypt. Although all of us may be smart, all of us have wisdom, all of us clever, all of us know the Torah, we will still be slave in Egypt. What's the Hidush here? The Hidush here that we actually trying to tell ourselves something very important. That in Egypt, a person that was a slave stays a slave all of his life. No slave ever left Egypt until HaKadosh Baruch Hu redeemed the Jewish people. The Egyptians surround the entire country, okay? That no slave can leave the country. No one can run away from Egypt. How did they done it? What was their method? The Zohar HaKadosh explained that the Egyptian was sorcerers and witchcrafters. There was magician, as we know. With sorcery, they surround the entire land of Egypt, that they created dog with the evil forces name. That means with evil name. That means that impurity name, according to the Zohar HaKadosh. And those dogs, there wasn't live dogs. There was like a statue of dogs, but they used to talk. So if someone a slave tried to leave Egypt, immediately they used to say a slave escaping, a slave escaping. That means that no one ever left Egypt. And that's what we're saying in a verse. Although that we were slaves, although that we maybe know the Torah, although that maybe we clever, although that maybe we have a wisdom, But if Hakadosh Baruch Hu didn't took us out of Egypt, we couldn't leave Egypt. We will be slave until this day. And that's the Hidush here, that no slave ever managed to leave Egypt. The first time in the history, it was when the Jewish people been redeemed by the Almighty. And that's the Hidush here. So when we say Avadim Ayinu leParo b'Mitzrayim, we have to remember that HaKadosh Baruch Hu vayotzienu Eloheinu misham. How did he take us out? That he stretched his arm, okay? Bezroa netuya, beyat hazaka. What does it mean, beyat hazaka? With a strong arm. That means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu changed all what the Egyptian done, all the sorcery, all the nature. Basically, turn it upside down, that we can leave Egypt. Not only that, in the end of the verse, it says, Mitzvah alenu lesaper b'yetziat Mitzrayim. We have a mitzvah to tell the story of the Exodus. Not only that, וכל המרבה לספר ביציאת מצרים, הרי זה משובח. He's a praiseworthy, a person that tell the story, explain the Exodus, is praised. Why? Why is he so praised? So we brought at the beginning the Ran, Rabbeinu Nissim Migorondi. And Rabotai, Rabbi Nissim Migorondi explained it. He says, as much that you tell and you express and you explain to yourself, to your member, to your family, to the people on your table, the story of the Exodus, you're actually opening all the prosperity in heaven. That means all the blessing coming up onto people that need help have to focus and to tell all the story and to explain the story of the Exodus in a way that everyone will understand and can imagine like it's happened now. Listen, we used to build, we used to make mortar. The Egyptian used to beat us. They used to starve us. What did HaKadosh Baruch Hu done? He redeemed us. By that he brought the 10 plagues. We'll go by Ezrat Hashem also through the 10 plagues. But the Chokhmah is to tell as much more. Why say Rabbeinu Nissim, the Ran? That if you want prosperity, you want blessing, you want health, you want all the brochas, everything gonna come from heaven. And you'll see in the end of the show what the Ran say about it. We'll speak about it. So what is the Hidush here? Is number one, to implant on us that without HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we couldn't be here today. We will be still slaves. So all of you are going to say, but wait a minute. There's no slavery in the world. There is still slavery in the world. That we become a great nation. That we're worshipping HaKadosh Baruch Hu and we're not worshipping other nations, or we're not worshipping, and we're not pagan that worships all different, whatever you want to call it, statues, we're already free. But there's still people that live in poverty. If you go to Africa, you can see, we're living in Africa, but go a bit more North Africa, okay? You can see what's happening there, the poverty. And Baruch Hashem, we're not anymore on that level. If you go down to China, there's people that working for nothing. They're working 14 hours a day. I spoke to a guy, I was shocked when I heard that. I spoke to a Chinese guy. He's working for a Huawei company. And he said to me, he starts in the morning. Listen to that. He started the morning at 7 o'clock. And he finished every day, 9 to 10 o'clock. That's the hours. 9 to 10 o'clock at night. Unheard of. Unheard of. They have to work. So to me, if we not work, there's hundreds, if not millions, waiting to take my job. And that's what he's saying. We have to say to ourselves that Baruch Hashem, we're not slaves. Not only that, we have to understand that as much that we speak about the Exodus, we're building the emunah on us, but then HaKadosh Baruch Hu praised us. How's he praised us? By that he bringing all the brachot on us. And that's the Hidush here. Let's continue. And here we see, after that, it tells a story that I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to read the first part again, and we'll explain. מעשה ברבי אלעזר ורבי יהושע ורבי אלעזר בן עזריה ורבי עקיבא ורבי טרפון שהיו מסובים בבני ברק והיו מספרים ביציאת מצרים כל אותו הלילה עד שבאו תלמידיהם ואמרו להם רבותינו הגיע זמן קריאת שמע של שחרית. בכבוד, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you need to unmute.
Yes, sir. I got it.
Yeah.
One Seder night, 5 of the greatest rabbis, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Akiva, and Rabbi Tarfon were sitting in Bnei Brak. All night long, they told about the miracles that happened when the Jews left Egypt. They did not stop until their students came to tell them it was time for the morning prayers, the Shema.
Okay. And the question is that many of the Mefarshim ask, understand, you tell me the story about the 4 sages. That's beautiful. Okay, actually the 5 sages. But what difference does it make where it was? Why are you telling me that it was in Bnei Brak? What's the Hidush here that you're telling me that they were sitting together, gathering together in Bnei Brak, in a city of Bnei Brak? By the way, I'm not sure that it's the city of Bnei Brak of today. So here's the answer before, because I don't know. What is the Hidush? So there is different commentary that we can learn from here. That if you look, who came to visit him? Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Tarfon. They were sitting in Bnei Brak. The Hagadah tells us. But the Hagadah doesn't explain what's happening here. We have to understand. Bnei Brak, who was the rabbi of the city of Bnei Brak? Who was the chief rabbi of the city of Bnei Brak? So Hazal explained that that was Rabbi Akiva. Sorry, Rabbi Akiva was the chief rabbi of Bnei Brak. Rabbi Akiva, here the Hagadah tells us that who was with him? His rabbis. So what's the Hidush here? So there is here to teach us halacha, number 1. The first thing that we can learn from here is halacha. Say the Mefarshim. We know that a student cannot lean to his left in the front of his rabbi. But the Hagadah tell us that they all was mesubim bebnei brak. They all was leaning and eating that night in Bnei Brak. So how can it be that Rabbi Akiva in the front of his rabbi leaning? A person can't lean in the front of his rabbi. You need to respect his rabbi. Say the Mefarshim, here you're learning halacha. You're learning from here halacha, that he come to tell you, although that his rabbi was with him, but because he was the chief rabbi of Bnei Brak, the city of Bnei Brak, in that case, he can lean to his left, although that his rabbi was with him. So from here, we learn halacha, that nachon, that the student cannot lean in the front of his rabbi. But if the rabbi come to the city where the student is the chief rabbi, then there is a leniency for the student to lean to the left. Okay? Another interpretation, but a bit different, Hazal explained that it's come to tell you something very important. We see that the student telling the sages that the time of reciting the Shema of the morning, it's around. What's the Hidush here? Asked the Mefarshim. So the Mefarshim explained like this. He said that actually that here the Hagadah and the sages telling you that if when you say Kriyat Shema, and if you say it with full kavana, there is a chance that we can be redeemed. That means if the children of Israel say Kriyat Shema, recite the Shema with a kavana, and receiving all Malchut Shamayim on them, the Yehud Hashem, and I will explain that what does it mean. Yehud Hashem, that there is only one God. Kabbalat all Malchut Shamayim, that they're receiving the oath of the Almighty on them, they can be redeemed immediately. So the student coming to remind the rabbis that, please, Rabbi, we can be redeemed. How can we be redeemed? If you say the Shema with full kavanah. And that's what it's come to teach us. Another interpretation, Rabotai. And now I'm going to bring the Gaon Hida, Rabbi Haim Yosef David Azulai. Rabbi Haim Yosef David Azulai, born in Jerusalem. And he born around 300 years ago. And he wrote few books. And as I mentioned before, most of his book was about the organ of the body. And in his book, Simchat HaRegel, okay, the joys of the festival Regel, it can be the Moadim, the festival, the 3 regalim that we have, but Regel also can be a leg. And there he said, let me explain to you a different interpretation why the Hagadah tell us that the 5 sages was together in Bnei Brak. What's the Hidush? Why did they gather together in Bnei Brak? He said like this. He said, take the gematria of the word Bnei Brak. 364. He said, okay, what's the Hidush? He said, continue. Take the word Has-Satan, the Satan. What's the gematria? 364. He said that the sages got together Dafka in Bnei Brak, that the gematria of that city is 364. And Dafka on Leila Seder. Why Dafka on Leila Seder? Because we say that the heavens gate are open. And Dafka on that night, they're trying to weaken the energy of the Satan. Why Dafka? Because in that night, HaKadosh Baruch Hu opened all the heavens gate. And every davening, every bakasha, every question that we're going to ask can be answered. Because the heavens gates are open. So when we're reading the Hagadah, we have to understand that the heavens gate are open, and we should, if we need to ask a bakasha, we can ask. And I explained last week, Rabotai, and I repeat it, please remember it. After the Kiddush, after we finish to drink the first cup of wine, before we go into vas for the karpas, there we vassing without the brocha. After we drink the first cup, leaning to the left, take 2 minutes. Everyone, the member of the house, the owner of the house, say to his guests, to his family, take 2 minutes of your time and ask for everything that you need. If we need for shlom bayit, if we need for parnasa, we need for health. If we know that someone needs a shidduch for his kids, a shidduch for his kids. If person need children that they're battling to have kids, they can daven for them. We need to ask, the most important thing is for the Geula, for the redemption. And that's what we have to do in that night. By that we weaken the strength of the Satan. Why? Dafka in Bnei Brak? Because so you cannot criticize. So we can receive all the prosperity that HaKadosh Baruch Hu want to bring down. Another interpretation that brought by the Hiskuni. Hiskuni is a midrash. It's been written by Rabbi Hiskiah ben Manoach. He born in France. He born 774 years ago. And he said like this. He said, where do we learn all that? It's beautiful. Where do we learn that on the 15th of Nisan, the heavens gates are open? Who teaching us that? And that can explain why the rabbis got together in Bnei Brak in that night. He said, I'll tell you. On the 15th of Nisan, Yitzhak Avinu asked his son, Esav, Chudali child, go, make for me food so I can bless you. Why Dafka that night? Chachamei Asod, the mystical rabbi, explained, say Yitzhak Avinu to Esav, I want to bless you, but I can bless you if you bring me something that the bracha, that I can say bracha on it, and then I can draw the bracha on it. משום ששערי שמיים פתוחים באותו לילה. Because the heavens gate are open at that night. And if you give me something to eat and I'll say a brocha over that food, and then I can bless you, ha-bracha tahul. Then the blessing can fulfill. That means the person that bless you, that blessing can work. Said the Hiskuni that you learned it from Yitzhak Avinu that wanted to bless Esav. That's why Dafka on that night, that it's Leila Seder, what we call it Leila Seder, the 15th of Nisan, we're doing a special, we read the Hagadah, we waking up the heavens, we try to draw and to bring Rahamim, mercy and compassion, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will redeem them. And now we can understand what's hiding behind that thing that it said, something very interesting. Maaseh Rabbi Elazar. And Rabbi Yoshua, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Maaseh Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Tarfon. That's what they're trying to bring down. And that's what's hiding behind. Then it says something very interesting on a second verse. It says something very interesting. Look what it says. Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. הרי אני כבן 70 שנה, ולא זכיתי שתאמר יציאת מצרים בלילות, עד שדרשה בן זונה, שנאמר, למען תזכור את יום צאתך מארץ מצרים. כל ימי חייך. ימי חייך הימים, כל ימי חייך הלילות. וחכמים אומרים, ימי חייך העולם הזה, כל ימי חייך להביא לימות המשיח. בכבוד.
Right. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, he held that it is a mitzvah to speak every night, in bracket during Ma'ariv, about the Jews leaving Egypt. He said, a miracle happened to make me look as if I were 70 years old. Yet I could not prove that we must speak every night about Jews leaving Egypt. Then Ben Zoma proved it. The Torah states, so that you will remember the day you left Egypt all the days of your life. The words days of your life mean the daytime. The word all means that during all times of the day, even at night, we must speak about leaving Egypt. But the other rabbis did not agree. They said, the words days of your life means that we speak about leaving Egypt now, before Mashiach has come. The word all means that we will still speak about leaving Egypt even after Mashiach comes.
Very interesting, huh? They try to explain. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said, I look like a 70 years old. What do you mean, I look like a 70 years old? So Hazal in the Gemara in Masechet Brachot in page 27, folio 2, tell us a story that Rabban Gamliel was the Nasi, the president, and they didn't, say it nicely, they didn't want him to be a president anymore, and they moved him away from his position, Rabban Gamliel. And now they have to decide who's going to take his position. Who's going to take Rabban Gamliel position as a president? Who's going to be the chief rabbi, let's call it? And the sages look at Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. But the problem that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was the age of 18. If he was the age of 18, why did he say he looked like a 70? So Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah dove into Hakadosh Baruch Hu and he said, listen, how can me as a young boy can be suddenly the rabbi, the chief rabbi? I'm too young. Everyone have a white beard. Everyone have a white hair. And I'm as a youngster, I'm completely black. My hair is black, my beard is black. And he dove into Hakadosh Baruch Hu, say Hazal, that a miracle gonna happen to him. And his beard will have 70 line, okay, that look like an old man. In reality, he was still 18. That he looked like an old man because he davened. And that's what he's telling us here. He tells us here that at that night, a miracle happened, and he looked like a 70 years old the following morning. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu turned the color of his beard from black to white. And that was the miracle. But look, he was 18. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was, Rabotai, a Gilgul of Shmuel HaNavi, a reincarnation of Shmuel HaNavi. Because Shmuel HaNavi died in a very, very young age, if I'm not mistaken, 52. 52 plus 18 give you 70. And that's what it means, ben Shivim. in a previous life, I was the prophet Samuel and Rabbi Shmuel. And this life, I am in the age of 18. But in reality, that's who I am. I'm the reincarnation of the prophet Shmuel. And that's why I say 70. What are we running? We didn't done a lot, but we just at the beginning of the Hagadah, and I would like just to do Hacham and then to stop, because I think that because the time really running fast. It's already 5 to 9. So let's try to explain what's happening here. And the Torah, you know what, let's start. Baruch HaMakom, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'amo Yisrael. The Torah tell us, the Hagadah say like this, Baruch HaMakom, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'amo Yisrael. Baruch Hu, כנגד 4 בנים דיברה התורה, אחד חכם, אחד רשע, ואחד תם, ואחד שאינו יודע לשאול. בכבוד.
Blessed is God, who is everywhere. Blessed is he. Blessed is the one who gave the Torah to his nation, Israel. Blessed is he. In the Torah, we see that there are 4 different kinds of children. And we must teach each of them in a different way about Pesach. One who is wise, one who is evil, one who is simple, and one doesn't even understand enough to ask questions.
Okay. If you look, Chacham ma hu omer? Why does the Torah say like this? That we have 4 sons, because the Hagadah tried to tell us, Chazal and Hagadah tried to tell us, that there is 4 kind of people in the Jewish religion. Okay? It's those that the Chacham, Rasha, Tam, V'she'eno yodea lish'ol. But it says something very interesting. The first thing that the Hagadah tell us, Chacham ma hu omer? The Chacham, that is the wisdom, what does he say? What? That's the next verse. That it says, Chacham ma hu omer? מה העדות והמשפטים אשר ציווה אדוני אלוהינו אתכם, ואף אתה אמור לו כי הלכות הפסח אין מפטרים אחר הפסח התיקונן. בכבוד, ג'פרי.
The wise child, what does he say? I want to know all about the different kinds of mitzvahs that Hashem our God told us to do, told you to do. Since this child wants to learn, you should teach him all the laws of Pesach, up to the last law of the Seder, that we are not allowed to eat after the Afikomen.
Okay. We see that the Hagadah starts, what is a person that is a Chacham, a wisdom, what does he say? And we have to understand what is it come to teach us. The Mefarshim explain one of the interpretation, one of the commentary that Chazal bring, that you know why is it say ma hu omer, what is he saying? Chazal explain like this, it's come to teach us that when a person talks, you can learn what is important to him. You can learn what he loves. You can learn what is his hobbies. You can learn what is the most important thing to him in life. Said the Mefarshim like this. Chacham, when you speak to a person that is a wisdom, what will he tell you? Listen, I was overseas. I saw this rabbi, I spoke to him, I saw his knowledge, I saw his wisdom. Immediately you know what is he interested. But from the other way, a wicked, what will he tell you? He tell you, I was in that place, I gone to the casino, you know. It's Hazal say that, you know, why does it say about the fourth son? Ma'u Omer, what does he say? To tell us if you want to test, if you want to know who's the person that you're talking to and what is important to him, listen, who does he praise? If a person prays a soccer team, you know that his head is only on soccer. If a person prays Hachamim, scholar people, you know that he loves Torah. From the other way, if a person prays wicked people, like we see that happening today in the world, you know who he is. He's exactly like them. So that's why the Hagadah tell us, Hacham ma'u omer, Rasha ma'u omer, Tam ma'u omer, V'she'eno yodea lish'ol ma'u omer. That means if you want to know the person that's in the front of you, you want to know who he is, to get a bit of idea about his personality, listen who he prays. Listen what is important to him. Where is his mind? In a state of mind, what does he think? He think about the Torah? He think about Chachamim? Or lahavdil, he's talking about rugby, soccer, whatever, sport. Or lahavdil, he's a wicked person. So he prays wicked people. He prays the Hamas. He prays Iran. He speak about them. He said that they're good. Then you know who you're dealing with. And that's what the Hagadah tried to teach us. Hacham ma'u omer. What is the Hacham saying? Listen to him. Is he speaking the Torah? Is he praised Talmidei Chachamim? Speaking about mitzvot, about halachot? Then you know who he is. You know who you're dealing with. The Hagadah come to teach us something very important, to understand who's in the front of us. And Be'ezrat Hashem, Rabotai, I'm 2 minutes over. Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us the wisdom, will give us the chokhmah, the knowledge to understand the story of the redemption, to praise it Be'ezrat Hashem, and then we know who really to praise. To praise Avinu Shebashamayim, our Father in heaven, to understand En lanu al mi leisha'en ela al Avinu Shebashamayim. We have no one to rely on, no one, only the Almighty in heaven. And we see it how the states, United States, Biden, playing game with the states of Israel. So Be'ezrat Hashem, that this year, when we read the Hagadah, we'll have a different insight, a different idea to understand the Hagadah, to understand where we're going and what we want. That's the most important, to ask for Geula Shlema, for a full redemption by the Almighty. And Be'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will redeem us and will say enough, Dai letzarotenu, enough to our chores, and then we'll see Mashiach. We see those that no alenu been kidnapped, those that still as a hostages in Gaza, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu gonna release them all, Be'ezrat Hashem, and He gonna take care over those wicked people, Be'ezrat Hashem. So we'll see Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our day. Amen. Those of you that have question can ask now. Bechavod.
Rav?
כן, בכבוד, בכבוד. These two people speaking together. These two people talking together one at a time. Stephen, you was first, Bechavod.
Yes, Rabbi. The question I have is with Rabbi when he said when Rabbi Azaria says he's like 70 years old and he changed and his beard changed white. Everybody
Okay.
knew he was 18, even if his beard
נכון.
changed. So
נכון.
how would that have?
How's that change the subject? 1 second,
Yeah.
give me 1 second. Let me just mute the background because it just doesn't give me a chance to explain. Okay, so how does it work? Now that he was 18, we're not changing the age. We can't change the age. We can change the look. That now that he look a bit more old with a nice beard, people will respect him more, will give him more kavod. If you take a young guy and you put him as a rabbi, the chief rabbi, people not really will accept him. Don't gonna accept his authority so quickly. He said by that he look a bit old, he look wisdom. The Mefarshim explained that a person that have white beard, it show that a person kana chokhmah. He have a bit of wisdom, little bit of wisdom. You know, when you look that the bottom part of the beard is white, you can realize that they have a bit of chokhmah.
But could it not be understood on a more esoteric level that up until that point, yes, they knew he was a very wise person. He had knowledge. Otherwise, they would never have appointed him. But he was a youngster. But overnight, when overnight, actually, what happened was when they once, as you say, they started to realize the gravity. Although he was 18 years old, how knowledgeable he was. That represents the gray hair represents as you say, the knowledge.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that obviously you learned that Gemara, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Why is that white? Why is it said that he have white beard? So one of the interpretation in the Gemara, if I'm not mistaken, to say by that he have white beards to show his knowledge, okay, in the Torah, and his power in the Torah. So that to show his strength in the Torah. That's what you're saying, huh?
Yeah.
That's one of the interpretation. But still, it still doesn't explain הרי אני כבן 70 שנה. הרי אני כבן 70 שנה, חז"ל לגמרא אין ברכות, כ"ב עמוד ב',
I'm not saying
22, that he looked like, by that suddenly the beard and why he looked like the 70. That's that he was 18, he was 18. נכון?
But that was his humility. That was actually his humility. He says, I'm looking. Yeah. The other thing is
he davened to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how can I be a young guy in the front of so many elderly wisdom people, so many big rabbonim, and I'm going to be suddenly the chief rabbi? At least let me look like a 70 years old. I know that I'm really not, but let me look like. Just let me look like.
Will recognize me for my wisdom rather than my age. That's what he said.
That's what he said.
And just one little.
מסכת אבות say, אל תסתכל בקנקן, אלא מה שיש בתוכו. So there is a מחלוקת amongst the sages. Some say, look at the elderly wine. Some say there's old wine, but it's not fermented enough. And there is some say, no, a dough that is a fresh wine, is a young grapes wine, they're very fermented with a lot of smartness. And that's actually referring to be Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. You follow?
And just one small point, Mr. Biden is not Biden, it's Baghdad, the traitor.
Okay. Any other question? Rabotai, anyone want to ask question regarding the Hagadah? Jeffrey?
Yes, Rav, there's a few questions.
Good.
The one we on the 15th of Nisan, the gates are open, and we should, as you said, take a couple of minutes after Kiddush to ask for what our desires
Just
are.
before, I repeat, just before you get up to Vas without a brocha, before we eat the karpas.
I see.
Ken. Ken.
Okay, so basically, you're saying at that moment we must pray for what we require, what we need, what we desperately want in our lives.
And the most important is the Geula.
The Geula, as this. So therefore, at that point, it comes to go back to the beginning of the shir. We are slaves. We are slaves to our environment. And maybe we should pray that our environment doesn't grip us as it is doing. To be redeemed from being under the yoke of what we live in this world, and in whichever country you're in, and you're beholden to the laws of the country. You're beholden to the way the laws are given to you, and what you can do and what you can't do, and can be totally against what we believe. I mean, we've just seen a terrible thing happen with this woman, Pandora's the woman saying that if some of the Jews were in the Israeli army, they're going to be locked up when they come back. I mean,
Yeah.
Here's an example of exactly, we're living in a place where we can be locked up. So we're not free. We're not free.
Who said that we're free? Some people think that they're free, even in Eretz Israel. Until not long ago, they was thinking that they're very free. But Hakadosh Baruch Hu wanted to show them, yes, you have your own country. You know when you're free? When you learn Torah.
Yeah.
Harut ala luchot. Al tikri harut ela hirut. Hirut mishabud malchuyot. What does it mean? You know when you're free, when you're learning Torah. When you're learning Torah, then no other country can tell you what to do. Why? Because you're the army of Hashem. And if you're the army of Hashem, no one can do nothing to you.
Yeah.
That's our problem. That we believe in a weapon. Not that we shouldn't have. I'm not saying not. No, I didn't say. We need to have an army. David HaMelech have an army. But we have to understand that all the miracle, the longest war ever in the history of Israel, 6 months, and we still didn't done the point. We didn't hit the point. We didn't hit the nail on the head. The hostages still there.
Yeah.
Sinwar and Iran still there. Why? And let's be honest, the American are tying our hands and our legs to finish the job. Simple as that. So that's called Sha'bud Malchuyot. And there's nothing that we can do until we're going to open our eyes and we look at the heaven and we say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, send us Mashiach. And then no one can tell us what to do. Exactly that.
Yeah. You mentioned and you discussed about Yitzchak asking his son, go and get food that I can bless you. It doesn't read that way. It doesn't read that way. It doesn't look that way in the Torah. It looks that it's only if someone that like Esau can go out and bring it to him the food that he would favor someone that can feed him. It looks that way. Unfortunately, it does. This gives a major difference to what you've just told us, that he wanted to have the food.
That's exactly it. That we have to understand our Torah in a surface look differently. You can read what you want to understand, but if you're really looking for interpretation, like our sages, start diving deeper, start to understand, is it really make a difference to our forefathers about food, that they really care? A tzaddik really care about food? A tzaddik need to eat to keep the physical body on. A tzaddik doesn't care about food. So if the Torah tell us about food, must be a reason. So let's start to understand, why did he speak about food? Why did he ask him, go now and bring me 2? Why dafka shne seirim? Let's tell you, אחד כנגד korban hagiga, אחד כנגד korban pesach. You understand? Because that night was Pesach, but the children of Israel didn't left Egypt. But the forefathers knew in the Holy Spirit, what is that night? So אחד כנגד korban pesach, ואחד כנגד korban hagiga. You follow?
Yes.
You understand? That's the secret behind it. To learn with the Mefarshim. Without the Mefarshim, without Torah shebe'al peh, we cannot understand. We cannot understand Torah shebichtav. That's why we need the oral Torah. That's why we need the Mefarshim. That's what's hiding behind everything.
Well, it's the first time in all these years it's opened a whole new vision.
Baruch Hashem.
So
Baruch Hashem.
So when they're talking about the sons, we're actually all a son. We're each one a son. So I mean, it seemed like you're talking about the sons in your family. If you're someone in your family is like this, that, and the other, but you're not. You're actually talking to yourself.
Not only that, it's talking about each one individually.
Yeah.
Some of us have the wisdom.
Yeah.
Some of us have the Yetzer Hara on us.
Yeah.
Some of us have the Tam. Some of us have that she'eno yodea lishol, the simple person, the simple son that doesn't know how to ask. So it's also referring to us individually.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks, Rob.
Shukra. I see that Anthony back with us. Anthony, Bechavod, you wanted to ask. Bechavod, Anthony, you actually muted yourself. Unmute yourself. Bechavod.
He says we're going to be redeemed in the month of Nisan. Does it have to be in the month of Nisan, or can we be redeemed in other months of the year? What does it have to be? Will it be in Nisan?
Yes, I spoke to it before. Hazal tell us in a Gemara. It's not me. First of all, it's Hazal in the Gemara. Hazal said, "Benisan nigalu, benisan atidim ligael." That means the Jewish people have been redeemed in the month of Nisan, and for the future, the atidim. There is a chance that we're going to be redeemed in Nisan. But it's not. If we do tshuva today, HaKadosh Baruch Hu immediately going to redeem us. That means every day, we can be redeemed. You follow? Every month, we can be redeemed. But on Nisan, because the heavens gate are open, like I explained, Sha'arei Shamayim Ptuchim, there is a better chance that we're going to be redeemed. That's what we say, Ma nishtana layla hazeh. Why Ma nishtana? That to waken up the desire of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to redeem us. To wake up the Holy Spirit, the Shekhinah Kedosha, that it's time to redeem my children. So in a month of Nisan, we have a better chance. But it doesn't mean that all year around we can't be redeemed. You follow?
Yes. Okay, thanks very much.
Pleasure. Pleasure. Any other question, Rabotai? No question. Okay. Rabotai, I would like, first of all, to thank you all for joining the show. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that it's given you a different way to look at Hagadah of Pesach, that Be'ezrat Hashem, when you're sitting around the Seder night, you can write all of those commentary to explain all of these ideas that hiding behind what our sages wrote in our beautiful Hagadah, to enjoy your family, to build the emunah, and the most important thing, to daven that HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to redeem us, Be'ezrat Hashem, speedily in our day. Amen, Ken Yehi Ratzon. And I would like to wish each one of you individually Shavua Tov, a great week, a beautiful week ahead, a week of a lot of positive energy, a lot of studying Torah, Be'ezrat Hashem, and Be'ezrat Hashem, we should see miracle and to hear good news. Shavua Tov and good night, everyone.
Bye-bye. Shavua Tov.
Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.